Welcome to Speak Smart, Think Smart. Today, we're diving deep into something really crucial for learning English effectively.
Mm.
It goes way beyond just, memorizing words and grammar rules,
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking about how you actually take in, remember new information.
especially when you're taking notes.
That's it. So many of you focus really hard on the what of English, the vocab, the verb tenses,
Which is important, obviously.
totally essential.
Mhm.
But the how often gets missed. How does your brain actually process and hang on to this new language?
And that's where note-taking comes in, right? Getting smart about how we take note.
Exactly. Mastering those techniques.
So to help us figure this out, we looked at a really interesting YouTube video. It's from the channel Koi.
Ah, yes. The 7 note-taking secrets of the top 1% of students video.
That's the one. Now, okay, it's not specifically about learning English.
No, it's more general student learning.
But the ideas in it, we think they're incredibly powerful for you as English learners.
Definitely. So our mission today really is to pull out those key secrets
Mhm.
and show you exactly how you can apply them to your English studies. We want to give you strategies.
Strategies that help you not just, speak smart, but also really think smart in English.
Make your learning more efficient, more impactful.
Okay, let's get into the first big idea. It tackles something I think, well, probably loads of us do.
Mm.
Creating what the video calls a wall of words. Pages and pages just full of dense text notes.
Oh, yeah. Just paragraph after paragraph.
Trying to reread that later,
Yeah.
it can be overwhelming.
It really can. And the video suggests something different. Visual notes.
Like pictures.
Yeah. Or images, flowcharts, diagrams, maybe mind maps, things like that, instead of just solid text.
Why does that work better?
Well, the thinking is our brains process visuals and words kind of separately, different channels.
Okay.
So when you combine them, you actually encode the memory more strongly. We just tend to remember pictures, visuals better than just lines of text.
Right. Okay, so for learning English, this is where it gets interesting. Instead of just writing, say, happy and its definition,
Mm-hmm.
you could maybe draw a little word web. Happy in the middle.
Yeah, branch out.
Synonyms like joyful, glad, maybe an antonym like sad, even a little smiley face drawing.
Exactly. Much more engaging, much more memorable than just a definition.
Or like prepositions, they're often spatial, right? On, under, next to.
Oh, definitely tricky for learners.
So instead of just definitions, you could draw a simple diagram, a box and a ball, showing where the ball is.
Yes. That visual makes it so much clearer instantly than memorizing a list.
Yeah.
It makes those abstract grammar bits more concrete.
Okay, that makes sense. So less wall of words, more visuals. What's the next secret?
The next one shifts focus a bit. It's about how we think while taking notes. The video says notes should be an extension of your thinking, not a replacement.
An extension, not a replacement. What does that mean in practice, like for learning English?
It relates to this idea called cognitive load.
Cognitive load.
Yeah, think of it like juggling too many balls. Your brain can only handle so much information at once.
Okay.
When you're learning English, you're getting hit with new sounds, new grammar, new everything all the time.
Right, it's a lot.
And the video argues that real learning happens when your brain actively wrestles with that information, engages with it.
So the danger is just writing everything down passively. Like teacher says something, you just write it word for word.
Exactly. It goes from their mouth or the book straight to your paper.
Skipping your brain, basically.
Skipping that crucial processing stage.
Yeah.
We worry about missing something, so we just transcribe.
But we're not actually learning it in that moment.
That's the key point for English learners.
Yeah.
Try not to just write down every single word in a lesson or from, say, podcast.
Okay. So what should you do?
Focus on getting the main idea first. Understand the core concept. Then try summarizing it.
In your own words.
Yeah?
In English.
Yes. In your own English words, even if they're simple at first. That act forces you to process it, to internalize it.
Right. You have to think about it to rephrase it.
Okay.
So you've listened, you've processed, you've taken some thoughtful initial notes. What's next?
Well, the video warns against just rereading those notes over and over as your main study method.
Rereading isn't good enough. But that's what most people do.
I know. But apparently it can create an illusion of learning.
Illusion of learning. How so?
It feels comfortable, right? Familiar. Like watching a favorite movie scene again. You recognize it.
Yeah.
But could you actually tell someone every single detail, every line, without watching? Probably not perfectly.
Okay, good point.
It's similar with your English notes. Just scanning your vocab list or grammar rules gives you this, like, false sense of confidence.
You recognize it, but you can't necessarily use it.
Exactly. It doesn't mean you can actively produce that language.
So if rereading is out, or at least not the main thing, what's the solution?
Active recall. The video really pushes this.
Active recall. Testing yourself.
Precisely. Trying to pull that information out of your memory without looking at your notes.
Okay, so for English, that would be like trying to use those new vocab words you learn, maybe in a practice conversation or writing a paragraph.
Yes. Without peeking at the definitions list.
Yeah.
Or trying to explain a grammar rule.
Like the difference between present perfect and past simple.
From memory. Just explaining it out loud to yourself, quizzing yourself regularly.
Thinking about a situation, like ordering coffee and recalling the phrases you'd need.
Perfect example. That active retrieval, pulling it out, that's what strengthens the connections in your brain. Much more powerful than just passively rereading.
Okay, active recall. Got it. Now, the video also mentions something about notes being iterative. Is that the word?
Yeah, the iterative nature of note-taking. Basically, don't aim for perfection straight away.
So my first set of notes isn't the final version?
Not at all. Think of them as version 1, like the video says, a first draft.
Because my understanding will change.
Exactly. As you keep learning English, you'll definitely clear up things you misunderstood before. You'll spot connections between topics you missed initially. You'll want to condense things.
So it means going back to older notes.
Yes. Actively updating them. Revising them.
So say my initial notes on articles A and there are a bit basic. Then I learn more nuances.
You should go back. Revisit those notes.
Add new examples. Correct misunderstandings.
Absolutely. Cross out what's wrong now. Add those better examples. Maybe even reorganize it to show your deeper understanding. Don't stress about perfection on day one. Your English comprehension evolves.
That takes the pressure off a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, what about how we structure notes? The video talked about linear versus non-linear.
Right. Linear is what most of us probably do by default.
Like lists, bullet points, paragraphs, following a sequence.
Exactly. Information presented sequentially, structured. But nonlinear is different.
How so?
It's more visual, more free-flowing. Ideas are connected in a less rigid way.
Okay, like a mind maps.
Mind maps are a classic example. A central idea branches out to related subtopics. Or diagrams showing relationships between concepts.
And the video says this non-linear approach is good for what?
It's fantastic for visualizing connections, seeing how different pieces of information link together.
I can see that for English. Linear notes might work for, say, the steps to conjugate a verb.
Yeah, a clear sequence.
But a mind map could be great for vocabulary, like a theme. Travel.
Ooh, good one.
You could branch out to transport, accommodation, activities, useful phrases, showing how it all connects.
Definitely. Much better than just a long list of travel words. The video also mentions that pen and paper or a stylus on a tablet.
They work well for this.
Yeah, they often feel more natural for making those free-form connections. Typing tends to push you towards linear, though there are digital tools for mind maps too, of course.
Interesting. So think about linear and non-linear. Okay, there was another point. It was about math originally, but you thought it applied well to English.
Ah, yes. Conceptual understanding first.
Right. What was the math advice?
The video advised against starting math by just memorizing formulas. Instead, first understand the concept. When and why would you use that formula? What does it actually represent?
And you think we can apply that to learning English?
Absolutely. Think about phrasal verbs.
Oh yeah, tricky ones. Look up, look down, look after.
Instead of just memorizing a list, first try to grasp the core meaning. Why does up change the meaning of look in that specific way? What's the underlying idea?
Or for grammar, like understand the function of relative clauses, what they do in a sentence, before just memorizing the rules for how to form them.
Precisely. Understand the subtle difference in meaning between will and going to before just learning the conjugation rules.
So deeper understanding over rote memorization.
Exactly. It makes the learning stickier, more meaningful, less fragile.
Makes sense. Okay, one last secret from the video. Something about questions.
Yes. The power of writing questions. Actively formulating questions about what you're learning.
How does writing questions help? Seems simple.
It has multiple benefits, actually. First, it gives you a clear purpose when you go back to review. You're not just reading. You're searching for answers.
Oh, okay. Active again.
Second, it forces you to think critically. You have to put yourself in the shoes of, like, a teacher or a test maker. What are the key things to ask about this topic?
Mm. And third,
Those questions themselves become a fantastic self-study tool. You've basically created your own quiz.
so if I'm learning, say, conditional sentences in English,
Mm-hmm.
instead of just writing the rule, I should also write questions like, when do I use the second conditional versus the first? Or what's the punctuation rule?
Exactly. And the video mentions some notating apps even have features like toggles where you can hide the answers to your questions.
Oh, cool. Like digital flashcards built into your notes?
Kind of. Or you can easily transfer them to actual flashcards. It just makes your study much more focused and effective. It solidifies understanding.
The video mentions some specific methods too, didn't it? Briefly.
Yeah, it touched on things like Cornell notes and the QEC method questions, evidence, conclusion, which are structured around this idea of using questions to guide your learning.
Wow, okay. That's a lot of really practical stuff we can use.
Definitely actionable.
So just to quickly recap for everyone, we talked about ditching the wall of words for more visual notes.
Images, diagrams.
Remembering notes should extend your thinking, not replace it, so active processing is key.
Right, avoid just transcribing.
The importance of active recall, testing yourself, instead of just passive rereading.
Crucial for making it stick.
Treating notes as iterative, version 1, and updating them as you learn more.
Don't aim for perfection first time.
Using both linear and nonlinear methods, like mind maps, depending on the task.
Yeah, choose the right tool.
Focusing on understanding the concepts in English first, before just memorizing rules or lists.
Meaning before mechanics.
And finally, the real power of writing questions about the material to guide your study.
Turning you into an active learner.
All of these things, they're designed to make your English learning more active, right?
Exactly. More active, more engaging, and ultimately more successful. When you apply these secrets, you're not just absorbing information passively.
You're interacting with it.
You're processing it deeply, which leads to much better, longer-lasting understanding. It really empowers you to not just speak smart.
But to think smart in English, too.
That's the goal.
So for you listening, maybe take a moment to think. How actively are you engaging with the English you come across? Are you really processing it, or is it sometimes just kind of washing over you, ending up passively recorded somewhere?
It's a good question to ask yourself.
Try experimenting with some of these note-taking secrets we pulled from that Koi video. See what happens.
Yeah, play around with them. See how your understanding might deepen.
We really hope you explore different methods, find what clicks for you on your path to mastering English.
And maybe consider this final thought. How could these strategies, active engagement, visual thinking, asking questions, how could they help you learn other things too, beyond English?
Good point. These are really fundamental learning skills.
They really are. Powerful tools for picking up almost any new skill or knowledge.